Hi there. I'm Brian Wood, Technical Communications and Outreach Manager here at Wolfram. Joining me today is developer Jofre Espigule. How are you doing today?
How are you? Thank you.
Good. Joffrey's going to talk to us a little bit about biodiversity data in the Wolfram language. So I guess we could start with kind of a quick summary. What exactly is it that you've been doing? What kind of data have you been collecting?
So as a hobby, I have been recording species data, mainly images, also some sound recordings on a variety of platforms. Like there's one citizen scientist platform called iNaturalist, and I was uploading several identifications of species there, and then I thought that it would be like really cool to integrate this data into Wolfram language. So I started developing several functions that would access to this information from these platforms of biodiversity and be able to do some analysis on them. One is the GBIF, it's the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, which is an international organization that many countries are working with. And the other is iNaturalist, it's more a citizen scientist platform with over 1 million users that just for fun, they are recording some images of different species.
Gotcha. So when you say citizen scientist, I mean, it's literally just anyone who's out there,
exactly,
bird watching or collecting bugs or anything like that. And then they just sort of add their information to the database.
Yeah. Most of the users are just hobbyists or like citizen scientists that they record some animals on their hikes, for example. But that there are also like some real scientists or like experts in certain species that can help you to identify, for example, kind of a real strange spider that you don't know about it, and they can help you. So, and I think it's both like citizen scientists and scientists working on this platform.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense, I think, for something as large as biology. There could be just any random person out in the woods that comes across a species that no one's ever seen, and if you didn't have that data, then you wouldn't know that no one had ever seen that. So I know you've got a few examples of some of the stuff that you've collected and some of what can be done with it. So why don't we go ahead and dive into your notebook here real quick.
Let me share the screen. So this is the notebook, and I will start with maybe iNaturalist data.
All right.
This is a Wolfram Function Repository function that you can all access now using the resource function. And what it does, iNaturalist search, for example, is that you can either ask for a certain kind of data set that, for example, on threatened species, on a georegion, for example, in this case, you can specify with observation georange that you want observations located in the Yellowstone National Park, and also you can specify a date range.
Okay.
And the idea is that you can also, in this case, I put all, so I want all kind of observations, but you can also specify the taxon there. And these are all observations from iNaturalist users. We can even check the observation URL or the image, and that give us information on the geoposition of the observation. And if it has some kind of Wolfram taxon entity associated, it's also there. And there's also this new function called Wikidata data, and that kind of brings these kind of sort of entities that are useful for getting extra information.
Right. So you're actually not only pulling in the information that's already there in the iNaturalist database, you're sort of adding some of the Wolfram knowledge on top of that maybe you could use it for supplementary analysis kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Cool.
So once it's interpreted as an entity, you are able to also do all the sorts of kind of computations on top of that species. Yeah.
Excellent. So what is the example that you've got here?
For example, this is an example on trying to identify kind of brown marmorated testing bags, but classify whether they are adults or kind of youngsters, like nymph, what it's called in the arthropods terminology. And the idea is that with this is like couple of line of code, you can the species name is it's Haliomorpha halis, and this is an invasive species of stingbag that came to US and also in Europe from Japan and Asia in general. And now it's a huge plague.
Yeah.
And the idea is that iNaturalist search has this property that you can live stage, and you can specify in which live stage do you want the observations to be. Also here I was specifying kind of research quality grade. So they are confirmed by other users that this is the case, that it's a nymph.
Oh, okay. So it sort of has its own built-in measure for accuracy. Is that it's kind of how that
kind of it's sometimes it's really easy to get maybe wrong research quality grade.
Sure.
But you are assuming that users are honest, because if two friends are mutually identifying the species as a particular one, then it's going to be research grade. At least two users, they have to agree.
That makes sense.
And once that's the case, iNaturalist data is also, I think every week or month, it's sent to the GBIF facility. So the data which is research grade, it's also used by other scientists in the GBIF, the Global Biodiversity Information Facility. So actually using this kind of free app or this platform, iNaturalist, you can really help some researchers indirectly.
That's an interesting